protecting them even as they prepare to go to their homes as they wind up. We honor you and we bless your name. In the name of Jesus, we pray and give thanks.
Thank you, Jackie. It's been a really engaging 3 days, and I'm sure we'll be engaging with each other further and learning from each other as we go forward. At this moment, I'd want to welcome our colleague, Dr. Caleb Luvonga from Kenya, who will be the session chair for today's conference. Karibu Daktari. Please, let's welcome him with a round of applause. Karibu.
Good morning. In Kenya we used to have a president, a second president, called Daniel Arap Moi. And the Moi, when he was being welcomed, used to be welcomed na makofi ya kilo. Hiyo yenye mmenipigia sio ya kilo. Those are just grams. Nikaribishe na makofi ya kilo jameni. Moja! Fungua! Thank you very much. Now I feel better. Now, yeah, as Kobur has said, it's been a very engaging 3 days. This is the fourth and the final day of our conference, and we had quite a number of interesting engagements in the throughout this conference. We started on the first day with remarks from the head of Metrology at Kenya Bureau of Standards, just on Anderson Maina, who is a former colleague at KEBS, who is currently working at BIPM, managing the key comparison and database. And then, so he gave us a nice overview of the CIPM MRA, that's International Committee of Weights and Measures, Mutual Recognition Arrangement, the framework. And then after that, we had some presentations from on health from Grace Ateka and also from Evelyn Jeru, where we were talking about radiotherapy equipment to improve cancer treatment. And there was an interesting question that was asked. Somebody asked if the radiation is causing cancer, why are you using radiation to cure cancer? Yeah, and there was an answer that was given to that. Evelyn came with a very exciting topic on probiotics, looking at the issues of functional foods and how we are using probiotics in our daily lives and how they are emerging measurement challenges. And she came up with some suggestions. And one of the measurement challenge was on how to establish or how to verify the label claims that are made by the manufacturers. And then on that particular day, we closed with a session where people are just discussing what had been discussed throughout the day. And day two, that is the official opening day. But before that, we had a number of presentations. We had, day one, on day two, we had a presentation by Danish, and we also had a presentation by, who was that? I think Kibinge, on the different aspects. And then after that, we had an opportunity to have an opening session where we had now official opening of the event. We had in attendance our cabinet secretary for investment, trade and industry, who graced the occasion. And we had remarks from the Director of Metrology and Testing, the Managing Director of Kenya Bureau of Standards, and we had also a talk from the chairman and of course who invited the chief guest. Now, one of the things that was that came out so clearly is that we were having an issue, or people are wondering, why is meteorology more famous than metrology? It's like sibling rivalry. And of course, at the moment, I don't know what's happening in the other parts of the region, but in Kenya, we've been having quite a bit of rains. So of late, the weatherman has been getting a lot of airtime. And it's around the same holding our conference, and Mheshimiwa, the daughter, was worried that bread was going to be snatched from the table. But the dad was able to convince her that no, everything is okay. This is not meteorology. I am the head of metrology, so my job is secure. It's good for us to be able to demystify and separate the two, and also to just make sure that people understand. And then we had a very nice keynote address by Dr. Leo Chow from NIST in the United States of America. We had some country papers from the National Metrology Institute and National Standard Bodies. We also had another keynote address by Dr. Njiru, who spoke about the role of research and innovation. And then from there, we now got into technical issues, including presentation by Richard Odak, presentation by Irene Gishohi, presentation from Sylvester Memia, etc. And then after that, we had our panel discussion at the end of the day. And then we got to yesterday, which was day 3. Day 3 was mostly dedicated to weights and measures. And for the first time, I've actually attended a metrology conference, and weights and measures have actually come in their numbers. In the past, we've not been having weights and measures heavily involved as this one. So I'd want to recognize our colleagues from the weights and measures departments and agencies from the member states. They did an excellent job presenting issues to do with legal metrology. We had presentations from Uganda. We had presentations from Tanzania. We had a presentation from South Sudan. And of course, we also had Bwana Wamwana also talking during his address. And he pointed out on a number of issues to do with legal metrology. And then after that, we also had the poster presentation from the different poster presenters. And then after that, of course, before that, we had our session with the different presenters, just talking about the issues they had done, that they spoken about, and all this now is culminating today when you are now coming to the end of the session. However, we have saved the best for the last. Some of our sponsors are here with us, and they're just going to be presenting what they do, how they support metrology, and how we can partner with them in future. So at this particular moment, without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the representative from the ESTEC to come and make a presentation. So let us put our hands together for Tom Jamatenga Ouma. to come and make his presentation. Karibu sana Bwana Tom. Let's clap for him mpaka afike hapa, na ni makofi ya kilo, si makofi hafifu hafifu. Yeah? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, Tom.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. You don't seem to be excited. You know, I can declare this conference closed because I'm the sponsor. Yes, I'm happy to be here. It has been a wonderful week since Monday, and I've learned quite a lot. And I believe if we continue to partner together, we are going to make our region progress. Yeah, sorry. So, as it has been said, my name is Tom Ouma. I work with Estec Limited as their business development manager. My background is chemistry. I did analytical chemistry. I've also done MSc in project management. So EdTech simply means educational, scientific, and technical equipment company. Caleb, I believe today you know what the other second E means. It means equipment. So I'll take you through how we come in as far as metrology is concerned. I'm also happy that almost all the organizations represented here have interacted with ESTEC in one way or another, and that gives me the assurance that we have quite some good space in this field. I don't know why. Okay, so I'll be looking at various areas, and one of the areas that my presentation will focus on is on the customer protection. Okay, so I'll look at about 7 areas, but mainly looking into how customer is protected. So first, I'll start by looking into what is, why metrology? Why should it be of concern to the industry? Because my perspective is from the industry side. So why should the industry be more concerned about metrology? Now, if we look at the main areas of health, manufacturing, and trade, we'll see that there are quite a number of ways that the community is affected when we look at the issue of effectiveness of treatment or drugs. How effective are the drugs? Have you found yourself or had a situation where someone says that I've taken the full dosage, but my situation remains the same? Could it be a case of misdiagnosis? or it's just a case of the correct diagnosis, but the medicine that is prescribed is not effective. So those are some of the real challenges that people go through. And on the industry side, you also find there are cases of recalls. And whenever you hear about recalls, it really means a lot in terms of losses and the impact to the end users. Then we have this other area that I feel, as we are seated here, should really attract our attention, the herbal medicine or traditional medicine. It's becoming more popular now. At some time, I think it had gone down because people were so much warming up to the conventional treatment. But now again, I find that our communities, how do we ensure that we strengthen that industry of herbal medicine? How do we help them to come up with the right measurements so that as they administer their medicine, they give the right dosage in that aspect? So I'm just bringing up the real issues that are out there. When it comes to businesses, they look into profit. Every business is there with the sole purpose of making profits. So when you find that maybe a production farm is using raw materials to produce their products, and the quality of those raw materials they receive really means a lot in terms of their profitability. For example, if I tell you about, which one should I use? Yeah, sugar industry. Let me take example of sugar industry. When they receive sugarcane from the farms, those trucks deliver, and they kind of weigh, they go through the weigh bridge, and that will determine how they are being paid. But now they realize that that is not the best way. It's not giving them value for money by just going by the weight. Now they realize that they can actually apply science, which makes a lot of sense, because their main aim is the sugar, the glucose content. So that they can check the quality of the sugarcane and pay based on the quality. So if they do measurement at the point of receiving, and they know the dextrose levels at that point of that delivery, then they'll pay the farmer based on that. Then it means that the quality of sugar that they are going to produce and sell to the market will also reflect on the quality of the raw material. So these are just some of the things that affect the industry outside there when it comes to profitability. Then of course the issue of competitiveness, that how efficient are the systems. If it is about the packages, if you are selling your products in 2 kgs, how efficient is your measurements for that? Do you have issues whereby your competitors would say that your quantities vary from time to time, or how consistent would that be? So in terms of quality, how competitive are your products compared to those which are imported? You know, in our region, East Africa, we receive a lot of imports. Industry, there is some high level of imports. But for us to build our economy, then we need to make sure that our products, our produce locally, can meet or even be better than those that are coming in to our markets. Of course, the issue of metrology also affects the economic status of the people and the nations. In terms of if let's say I buy a soap that I use for bathing, and that soap maybe during production the ingredients were not well balanced, and then it ends up affecting my skin in some way. I may not be able to continue with my normal duties or my work. I'll be either on a sick off or will be struggling with the treatment issues. That already affects my productivity. And overall, that will affect the economy of the nation. So, how is metrology impacting on our economic growth, or at family level and at the national level? The issue of food contaminants. One of the most commonly affected areas that I always think of when I think of this is the local brews. For those who are from Kenya, they are very familiar with this, that sometimes the producer would spike the product with methanol. And when it is spiked, I hear the consumers would say, "Hii ni kali, hii ndio kali." So if it is from Caleb, they'll say, "Twende kwa ya Caleb, hiyo ndio kali." I don't know how to say that in English. But as they take the kali one, they end up getting blind without knowing. But then sometimes you realize that the trader does not even do it like intentionally. Them, they want to keep their clients. They want to make sure their products is the one that is the best in the market. But in the long end, they end up losing their clients because of that. So how are we able to deal with the issue of contaminants, especially in food, in that aspect? And finally, I've talked about trade and competition, the issue of billing. Sometimes we used to, in our estate WhatsApp group, we find someone complaining that this month I've received a crazy electricity bill. I don't think this is normal. And people share there, and then you realize that it is not normal, so you need to launch an official complaint with the service provider. And then you find there's something that was wrong during the reading or something. So these are things that affect people outside here. And finally, the issue of compliance. I would tell you, as you are seated here, most of you are regulators, that outside here, people fear the issue of compliance, and especially when the regulator is getting involved. So this is really affecting the industry, and I would wish that we'll reach a point where people are more educated, that they'll be able to embrace compliance and see that compliance actually enhance their business. So what are their main targets or concerns? The focus is on customers and market, and usually businesses are concerned about turnaround time, because the faster their turnaround time, the more productive they get, the more profitable their processes are. So there are some processes that needs decision at every stage. How do you ensure that you are able to make the right decision in the fastest way possible so that the processes can continue? So this is of big concern, and it brings into focus the issue of which systems do you have in place, and what do you rely on to make a decision that this product is now fit for the market, or this product needs to be reworked on. So that is of big concern to the industries outside here. Then the issue of consistency, limits of detection or sensitivity. What are the capability of your laboratory in terms of detecting a contaminant or a lack of an ingredient in a product? So that is something that every lab would want to be keen on, so that they are able to communicate the right information. When they write on the label, whatever is labeled on the product should actually be the right thing. Of course, the issue of reliability and comparability of your results, if the same product is tested in another lab, would they get the same results? Then safety is of great concern, and here you are looking at what is the quality of that product and how safe are your consumers, so that you can actually retain them in that aspect. So, what guides them in achieving this? We all know that there are a number of guidelines for every industry. They have different guidelines and standards that they rely on to ensure that there is a level playing ground, or there is fair trade across, and that the standards are enhanced. So we find that, of course, there is the issue of when you do a test, how accurate are those results? And what is the integrity, the data integrity aspect of that? Can you trace it? Is it traceable? Or the test that you did last week, if now the regulator asks you to actually reproduce the results, then you cannot trace them. Then, of course, we also have concerns about the quality and competency in medical labs or medical devices. When you are, for example, using a syringe and you are injecting a patient, what force should you use to push the medicine in? You know? And should that be consistent? Is there a rate at which you should be pushing it in? And so that means that the person or the company that produced those syringes should be doing some test to determine what is the resistance level when you are pushing in the medicine, so that there is consistency in those syringes, so that it does not depend on the doctor or the nurse, but it depends on, like, how easy is it to push the medicine through that syringe. So are they measuring that? Things to do with maybe plasters, you know, the bandages, when you are removing it. What force do you need to peel it off? And are we able to test that and make sure that it is standard and it is comfortable to the patient? Or sometimes it is too painful, sometimes it is easy. Then it means there is some inconsistency in that product. So those are things which the consumer is now more aware and concerned about. And as people who are involved in metrology, we need to be keen on such things. Areas to do with good manufacturing practice or good laboratory practice, you know, QMS and all that. Residue levels, the maximum residue limits, especially in pesticides and veterinary drugs. So we apply all this to ensure that the consumer is safe and is satisfied. Of course, at the end of it, there is the issue of skills. Are we skilled enough to apply these standards the way they should be? And are we skilled enough to use this equipment to get the desired results that is expected from them? So then comes ESTEC. How is ESTEC coming into this? So our vision is to have a safe and healthy Africa, and this relates well with what the consumer wants. And our mission is to be a leading provider of analytical testing equipment in Africa, thereby improving the livelihoods of people through quality and safe products. So whatever we do at ESTEC is ensuring that people get quality and people are always safe in that aspect. In doing this, we realize that there is need for us to work with you and be part of promoting metrology. And ESTEC is accredited for temperature and mass. So for the last several years, I think now about 17 years, we've been accredited by KENAS, and we support the industry in providing those services. So for mass, we are able to calibrate the analytical balances. And remember, for quality and safety, you need to measure accurately every component that goes into that test or into that product. So we are able to calibrate the analytical balances, industrial balances, and we are also able to provide you with calibrated masses. So in doing this, we believe we are promoting metrology in the industry. And there is a lot of need. If I was just looking at last year alone, we did over 120 calibration on masses, on balances, over 120. But just come to think of it, how many industries are outside there? And are they able to get these services? Even if they want it, we are still very much below the requirement to meet the needs outside there. So we need to do a lot to ensure that every setup is able to get these services. On temperature, of course, we take care of things to do with ovens, furnaces, the incubators, any equipment that has that deals with the parameter of temperature. We are able to support that in terms of calibration. And we are soon expanding our scope into pressure, and soon we'll be doing also pressure in that aspect. So in trying to meet this, we also provide analytical equipment that ensures that quality is enhanced and safety is maintained at all times. And in so doing, we ensure that we enter into a service contract arrangements with our clients. Why do we need to do this? Because I think, I don't know who made a presentation on, was it Odak, who talked about us looking at the frequency that I'll be calibrating or servicing after every 3 months or 6 months. But again, what happens if there is a sudden change in the conditions, or there is movement of the equipment, you know, or the throughput has increased from the usual quantities that usually goes through, or the number of samples that usually goes through that equipment. So we really need to ensure that our systems are maintained and serviced all the time. And during maintenance and service, we also do calibration so that we ensure that the measurement is accurate and correct, that they are able to perform optimally. In also supporting this, remember I talked about turnaround time, consistency, I talked about safety and quality. Now, we also provide extra support to the industry by training the users on user-level maintenance skills, so that there are some maintenance work that the user can do without calling us. To us, that is like losing business, because anytime you call me, I'll charge you for it. But now we try to train the users so that they can be able to fix certain things on their own without necessarily calling us. That helps them to reduce the downtime and continue with their work. So we believe by doing that, we are also contributing to the productivity and the economy of our people. There's this aspect that is very important and sometimes ignored. It's good that during this conference, some people have talked about it, data integrity. We can have the best systems, we can have the best equipment, you know, we can have the best skills in these labs. But you know what comes out finally is the data. And that is what is seen by the consumer. Now, how do we ensure that this data is safe? How do we ensure that this data can be traced? How do we ensure that this data cannot be tampered with at any time? And this data is available when you need it. So, when we make sure that our systems comes with softwares which have the highest level of data integrity, so that this information is preserved and it is also kept in its accurate format, and you can always retrieve it at any given time. So the completeness and the consistency of your data is very important. Otherwise, all the effort that has been made may not add up to anything when you need to prove this. We've had cases where some of our clients have to go and defend their results in courts of law, and then they need this data and they call us and tell us, how can I retrieve the data that of a sample that I did last year? And that is when they realize that this component is very important to measurements. So this is something that we should always be keen on, because we need to make sure that that data is in a format that can be read and understood by those who need to use it. That data should also indicate the time when it was acquired and all the details about the sample or the product. And of course, who did it. And if there is any change, it should also indicate who changed it and at what time, and probably the reason why that person changed it. So there is that, we call it, there is that aspect of data that you need to have audit trail. Yeah, we call it audit trail. So you need to be able to have audit trail on that, so that you can know whatever happened to your data at any given time, and who logged in, what did that person do. If they printed, you should know that Tom logged in on such a day and he printed this data. So that is to ensure that there is no tampering with the information, and it can be available whenever it is needed. Now, finally, you've gotten your systems, you have the best software, you have the right skills. For you, and this is something that I know you relate with, for you to ensure that you get the best optimal performance and the accurate results, the conditions must meet the requirements. The conditions of the room, or the conditions of the bench where the equipment is placed. For example, in balances, if the worktop is shaky, will you get the best accurate and reliable results from that balance? No. So we are very keen in ensuring that every system is set up in a condition that meets the requirements of that system, so that it can operate optimally. So in doing this, we will always send you a form or a document that we call pre-installation requirements. This document will guide you on the power rating, the bench work that you need, water source, quality of water that you need for that system to work well. It will also guide you on the CRMs you know, certified reference materials that you need to use on that system, or certified reference standards that you need to work with, so that you can get the accurate results or the desired results. We are also able to take you through and perform instrument qualification test, performance qualification test, and operational qualification test on your system, so that by the time we set you to start running, we are sure that that system is capable of performing to the best level that is expected. So these requirements are key to accurate and reliable measurements in the lab. And of course, we do training to enhance your skills and capability to be able to achieve that. So all this is done with an aim of enhancing quality, time management, and cost. Remember, I said that every establishment is focused on making profit. So we should always make sure that the processes that we undertake are time conscious, but we don't compromise on the cost of doing it, and we also don't compromise on the quality of the results or the products. So when you do all that right, then you will end up with a laboratory and a system that is set up in an environment that is conducive for those systems to work. I took this photo at one of our clients' laboratory. This is a government lab. I'll not mention the client, but it's a government lab. They are keen on doing pesticides residue. So those are just two systems that we provided to them. This is the GCMS triple quad, and that is LCMS also triple quad. And this photo was taken just at the end of installation. That's one of our application engineers there. So at ESTEC, we ensure that we do our best to ensure that what ends up to the consumer is of right quality and is safe for the consumer. And I look forward to working with each one of you to ensure that we meet this, because it is good for our economy, it is good for our people. These products are consumed by our parents, our daughters, our sons, our wives, and our friends. And when they fall sick, it is us who also contribute for their treatment, you know. And if by bad luck they die out of contamination or bad products, it is us who also spend on the funerals, according to our culture. So let's make East Africa, let's make Africa, and let's make the whole world safe from things that can be avoided. May God bless us all as we continue in this effort of ensuring that there is accurate measurement and there are safe and quality products in the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for that presentation. I will entertain 2 or so questions. We are pressed for time. So if we have a question, 1 or 2 for Tom, before we bring in the next presenter. Okay.
I don't know why he's giving me only 2.
And there's a plenary coming where you will answer any questions as well. Tom, you said you do calibration, and that anyway, simple to the point. Where do you get your traceability? When you say you are doing calibration for the industry, and where do you get your traceability?
We get our traceability through KEBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards. Yes.
Any other question?
Here.
Thank you. Tom, if you could beam me a presentation again, industry guidelines and standards. Are we able to see it? I need to.
Oh. Are you seeing it now?
Yes. That statement, you need to look at it. You know, we are in metrology now,
Okay.
and people might take it differently. That statement after the title.
Oh,
If it can be measured, it can be calibrated.
Yes.
Kindly look at that. It is not giving the correct position.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll have a discussion with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Omwana. Any other question? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Tom, for the nice presentation. And then I happen to be one of the beneficiaries for the training on HPLC, being facilitated by Mission for Essential Drug and Supply. And then your team happened to be the trainers in that organization. I suppose we had this one, a platform. We created a platform such that in case of any inquiry or any support from other participants who happen to attend the training, there is a need for ESTEC to support in that area. I remember there was a time I requested some guideline from Paul, one of your colleagues, Paul. And I don't know, we were having issue with our HPLC, and then with regards to the standard solutions. So I had wanted actually if your company could support us in this area, because in our country, and particularly in the lab where I worked, this is the only machine we have, the HPLC machine. And ever since the machine was donated to us by Trademark Africa, actually, that was in 2016, I remember, 2016, 2017. And then when the machine was brought, I don't know, the service contract that was done, it was not that fully agreed on, because when they installed the machine, and it happened that there is a missing software. And then that software cost us a lot of dollars. And then we happen to have different experts coming to our lab asking for this. So I don't know, in your company, when you supply equipments, do you supply with all the parts in place? Because other suppliers do take the missing part and then ask you to pay for it, knowing that it's your own, it's a full package for that machine. So I wanted to know from your company perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll respond to that. Your case was a bit unique because it was a donation. So we were in communication with the donor, and what we usually do, we give the offer with all the possible options. And in your case, the donor was also working with a limited budget. So they said, this is not necessary at this time. Can you pull out this? Can you do this? So I think that's what ended up into putting you in that situation. But again, I would also say that different labs or different applications require different configurations or systems. So there are some accessories that maybe are just required by pharma industry. When you go to food, they don't need it. So usually we get into that discussion with the user lab to determine exactly what they need and what we should supply. Otherwise, you may end up spending so much for other parts that you are not going to use in that lab. So that is what guides us. But these are things that we can always discuss at the time of acquiring the system. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom, for your presentation and for answering the questions that have been asked. You've received more than 2 questions. I'm sure you're happy about that. Now, if you have any other question, Tom is still around. You can always interact with him, and I did not see him give his contacts, but I'm sure you can always get him and can get the contact, so that even after this conference, you are able to interact with him. So, as usual, I usually like to appreciate people na makofi ya kilo. So let's give Tom his flowers. Moja, mbili, tatu, funga. Thank you very much. Now, the next presenter of the day is from the Micro and Small Enterprises Authority, MSEA, and they are going to tell us what it is all about, because remember, the theme of our conference was mainstreaming metrology for health, trade, and industry. And one of the pillars of our national development agenda is the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So there's an authority that oversees all this. So I'm going to invite Josephine Mukira to come and to do the presentation. Is Josephine in the house? Oh yeah, there she is. You can appreciate her and strengthen her even as she comes. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay, good morning. My name is Josephine Mukira. I work with Micro Small Enterprise Authority. I'm going to make a brief presentation. This presentation was supposed to be made by our engineer, Engineer Karani, who is from Micro Small Enterprise Authority. He was unable to make it. So I know this is a house which is full of engineers, but I'll make a simple presentation to say what we do. The technical part, maybe one day when we have another conference, you'll be able to come and make the technical presentation. So MSEA is a state agency. It's under Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development. It was formed under the Act of Micro Small Enterprise Authority Act of 2012. and its mandate is to promote, develop, and regulate micro and small enterprises, who are MSCs. MSCs are people who are doing small businesses. We support them. MSCA is a one-stop shop for MSCs where we work with them from when they are micro, they become small, then they become medium enterprises. We support them with our stakeholders. One of our stakeholders is KEBS, where they come to us when they want to have their products certified. We link them to KEBS. When they want their products to be patented, we link them to KIPI. We also have other stakeholders like KRA who we work with. For me, this conference has been an eye-opener. I was dealing with issues which I really didn't know that I was dealing with metrology, but as I sat there, I saw metrology is something we deal with every day. In my line of work, I deal with Juakali people. We have a project which is the affordable housing project. We have Juakali people who are making, they were given a section of things to make in the Juakali, in the affordable housing, which they are to provide for the project. They were given doors, steel casement doors, wooden doors and frames and steel casements. So I think I encountered that when we were delivering when they were given the LPOs to bring the door frames recently. And I had a tough time when they were given LPOs, and I don't know if it was the contractor or it was the MSCs who didn't, but I think it was the contractor who gave them the wrong measurement. So they produced so much, like, MSCs are small people. Imagine somebody producing 200 pieces of door frames, then you tell them the measurement was not even more, it was less, and they're supposed to fix a small piece to add to it. It's been a tough work. Then we came to the moisture content. It was another tough work. But as I understood here, there's somebody from Tanzania who was making a presentation about moisture. So the gadget was searched for, and when it came, when they tried measuring the content on the wood, all of them zilitoa the same moisture content. Hata zile zilikuwa zimeletwa zamani. So I understood it's affected by the climate or the moisture in the environment. So I don't know, that case is still pending. I don't know how we'll deal with it, but we'll deal with it according to metrology. So as MSCA, what we do, we support our MSCs, especially in marketing their products. I've had, there's a presenter who talked about East African market and also the African Free Continental Trade Area. We support our MSCs to take their products there, and it was an eye-opener, and I felt it's better when somebody said that they are looking for a way to have a unit which is uniform, in that when it's a kilo in Kenya, it will be the same kilo in Uganda and Tanzania and all the other East African countries. So it will be a plus for us as we train our MSCs. They'll be confident as they go to sell their products out there. So as I said, we support them every year. We take our MSCs to the East African markets. Last year it was in Kenya. We usually call it Nguvu Kazi. The other year it was in South Sudan, and the other year it was in Burundi. So with this knowledge, we'll be able to advise them to put their products in order, and maybe with your help, our engineer will consult so that they can be making products which are viable for the market. We also do formalization of, this one is not connected to this seminar, but we do formalization of this informal sector of Juakali. We register them into associations so that they can have an identity, so that they're able to work with the government, to work with other entities, because in the informal sector, nobody will be able to recognize them. So one of our mandates is to formalize them. We register them, we give them our certificates, which they are able to open bank accounts to trade with other organizations. We also train them we capacity build them to improve the quality of their products, so that they are able to market in the outside the country, and to also to get better markets for their goods. We showcase their products in the social media, where we have our social media. We have Twitter, we have Facebook. We put their products there, and they're able to get new linkages, new markets for their products. We also do financial linkages. We connect them to people who are offering affordable credit for them to be able to have capital to produce their goods. So I can say metrology, I have learned, is also important to our traders, who are mostly our members. They do trade, and for them to have sustainable businesses, they have to take it seriously, because they can't go selling products which are not the right quantities. The government will catch up with them, so we'll continue training them to use the right measuring instruments, so that they are able to remain in the market. Also, MSEA has other projects we are doing. We have 2 World Bank projects. We have KJET. We have KJET is Kenya Jobs Economic Transformation. It's a 5-year program. We are dealing with MSCs who are in value addition. We cluster them. They are supposed to be in clusters, and to deal with better value chains. These are edible oil, textile, dairy, tea, coffee. But in Mombasa, what we mostly have is edible oil, textile, and construction material. The other project we have is Nyota, which is giving grants to young entrepreneurs to begin businesses. And metrology will also be important to us as they grow their young businesses, so that we can tell them on how to use the right quantities, the right measurements for the sustainability of their businesses. So I'm grateful I came to this seminar. I have learned a lot, and I have so much to take back. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Josephine for that presentation. Now, one of the things that I would like to just ask before I open up the floor is when you are, what is the place of standards in the operation, or have you gotten to the point where you inform your members about, or clients, about the importance of standards, because if you have standards, then those should be a standard thing. So you should have a standard door, so they just prepare it based on specifications, so that you don't have the reworks. So what I wanted to ask is, what is the place of standards in the operation of your members and also stakeholders?
Okay, the place of standards in it mainly comes during production of the MSCs doing their production. We capacity build them in collaboration with our stakeholders. Maybe if it's tailors, we can call specialists in tailoring, or we take them to maybe an EPZ where they can get the correct measures. So ourselves, we may not have the standards, but we link them. We link them to where they can upskill their skills and capacity build on what is required in the market.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Members on the floor? We'll take 2 or 3 questions and then
I think mine is not a question but a compliment. I'm happy to see MSEA immersed in this area. I think the quality infrastructure is very, very central to the success of what MSEA is doing. So we're happy, and we hope we will be knocking on our doors more often. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Artich. Any other question or compliment?
Thank you, Josephine. Just to reinforce that they always link with us when they are doing capacity building for their members, and they always request KEBS to be present so that we talk about standards, metrology, and associated issues.
All right, thank you.
I didn't get, which organization do you work for?
KEBS.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Tuko huko mashinani.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, any other? All right, Josephine, it seems that you are very clear. People have understood what you said. So you can come down. Now, at this particular time, we are almost at tea break. So want to just take a few moments to go and have our tea break. Then after tea break, we'll come back and then we'll have some discussions about what has happened, the gains that we have made, and the way forward, even as we look at the future of EAMET and the next conference. So please go and enjoy your tea. It's served, I think, behind there where you've had it all this while. Just go and enjoy your tea. Let us congregate back at 1100 hours on the dot. No uncertainty. Enjoy your tea break.
Kamili anaomba tubonge.